Hey, man, I got interested in these victory gardens. People have been talking about victory gardens. I got to wonder, what were victory gardens? I kind of knew. I'm an economic historian, college professor, small college. So I went pecking around the other day, and I found the 1919 document manual, War Gardening and Home Storage of Vegetables, Victory Edition 1919. So technically, it's the war gardening movement that started in 1918 to provide food then for Americans. This is the American edition. This went on in a lot of allied countries. And then the Victory Garden 1919 actually was to supplement food because the allies in Europe, such as France, were going to have problems for 5 years or so feeding themselves. Anyway, this is a beginner's guide to gardening is what it is. And it's the United States School Garden Army. It's pretty cool. This was formed October 5th, 1918, I think. Now, this was written in 1918. It says, I do not feel that I shall allow the garden season of 1917 to 1918 to close without acknowledging you the very great service the National War Garden Commission. Fantastic. By the way, in that year, they generated $520 million of food. And that's in 1918 dollars, so that's obviously well over $1 billion today. And it's just, this is fascinating stuff. Hotbeds, cold frames, et cetera, et cetera. It's even got arrangement of season's crops, so rotation within the growing season. For example, peas followed by late tomatoes, or turnips followed by bush beans. It's a nice little simple chart. I get excited about this stuff. This is me. I'm an economic historian, and this is a beginner's guide to gardening, which is what my channel is about, you know. They had corporate gardens. I did not know that. There's one set up on the grounds of a corporation, capitalized by the corporation and worked by the employees. Any open land anywhere was pretty much given to an individual so that there'd be responsibility and accountability, and they would grow. And of course, backyard gardens. They talk about garden plants, sunshine, cold frames, green manure. They even give an illustration of all the common tools. The use of lime, that's an inside thing. Checking seeds, putting them on a napkin and a paper plate and covering it to see if the seeds will germinate, and if not, you toss them. Starting seeds in basically wooden boxes and soil and whatnot. Of course, they talk about fertilization and etc., but synthetic fertilizers have only been around, I think, 6 or 8 years by then, so they were still doing it old style. And some of the plants they're listing, you'll catch occasionally salsify, which is kind of like a skinny turnip, I guess, more like a carrot. And it got me interested enough, I think I'm going to grab some of that seed. Anyway, you want to get this thing, and I just can't stop. Growing potatoes, chipping potatoes, growing pole beans, how to deal with all the common crops, pest prevention, where you're buying products that aren't even available on the shelf anymore because they're toxic. They're not going to get herbicides like we do. And these are not organic. This is some nasty stuff in here. But it's just a fascinating book. And they even have a part 2 on storage in a different manual on canning. Anyway, victory gardens, technically, the first victory gardens were in 1919 after World War I, which at that point they called the Great War, closed. The initial gardens were called war gardens. So victory gardens, and I don't know what they call them in World War II, maybe then they were always called Victory Gardens. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far in this research. But this is a primary document, and you can get it. I used my favorite browser, Google, and my favorite library to purchase items, ebooks.google.com. I did. And there it is. This is a primary source. This isn't somebody writing about something they read about. This is the about. This is it. This is the real document. Free. Yes, and you can grab that yourself. Just search for it, ebooks.google.com, and it's War Gardening and Home Storage of Vegetables, published by National War Garden Commission, Washington, D.C., the Victory Edition 1919. And stamped here is May 28th, 1919. SB 321.N281919. That's the Dewey Decimal System. So this is a photocopy of a book that this library acquired wherever it came from on May 28th, 1919. Super cool. Super cool. They even talk about primary, what you want to grow to feed yourself, because that was the point. It's, let's see, beans and cauliflower, tomatoes, corn, onion, and cabbage. Do that first, and then if you have more space, keep moving. It's a fantastic thing. Anyway, that's where Victory Gardens came from. It's actually the year after the War Garden program was developed in the United States. And of course, we're just talking about the United States here. Yeah, maybe I'll do some more stuff on this. In the meantime, if you want some beginner gardening tips, check out wherever that thing is. It's probably there. I don't know. I can't even see. Peace.